Hello everyone, welcome to Lotus Heart Tarot. I'm so happy to have you here. We are going to dive right into your reading. It's a bit later in the day than I normally do this, but we are going to see what energies are out there for Pisces. For Pisces, please, Spirit. What does Pisces need to know right now? Okay, wow. You know, I think it might have been on my other channel. I'm not totally sure, but yesterday I was describing to one or the other channels this energy that I kept picking up on, and it was getting stronger and stronger. That, how do I even really want to say this? You know, people close down. Like, why don't we want to be vulnerable? Like, why are we afraid of opening up? Really, like, follow that path all the way back to the seed that it comes from. And it's really that, you know, we're afraid of being judged, or we're afraid that someone's going to see that we're not worthy, or that we're not, like, good enough, or we're going to embarrass ourselves or shame ourselves. You know, like, when I think about why I don't open up more to more people, it, you know, I mean, I know you guys might find that hard to believe because you know everything about me. No, just kidding. I mean, you know a lot. But, you know, there's just this energy of, you know, what if people think I'm weird because I do that, or I say that, or I feel that way? You know, would if, and where does that come from? It comes from a fear of being judged by another person. And the more judgmental the person is that sits with you, God, there's a great quote about this, and I can't believe I haven't thought about it until right now, because it's so good. And it's, oh man, like, it's one thing, right, to be able to sit in front of another person and have an enjoyable time, right? And like feel that you're, oh, I'm just gonna mess it up so bad. Kind of one of the most beautiful gifts that we can give someone is reflecting their beauty back to them in the form of, you know, non-judgment and, you know, a safe space and acceptance of all the weirdness, like all of the stuff, you know. That's a gift. That's unconditional love. That's exactly what it is, you know. And but so many of us, like, even grow up in households where we're not unconditionally loved, where we're judged, where we're criticized, where we are made to feel like, you know, we've done something wrong sometimes when we're just being our authentic self, or, you know, and that is, you know, that shows you that not all parts of you are acceptable. And that's kind of one of the ways, like, as a species, we like kind of keep this sort of homogenized idea, you know, or like everybody has to fit into this thing. And one of the biggest acts of rebellion and the bravest acts of rebellion is holding on to your freaking self, you know, through it all, is being like, I will not bend, I will not cave. And that doesn't mean I'm not willing to compromise. That doesn't mean whatever, but it is like, I am seeking to see the beauty in you, in all your weirdness, in all your everything, in all your messiness. And in return, I just want you to see the beauty in me, all the weirdness, all the messiness. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be a safe space for you and have a safe space for me. Now, when we close down, right, and we're protecting ourselves and we don't want to be vulnerable, whenever we are guarding ourselves, whenever we are putting up a barrier, right, like that to the world of like, you can't get close to me, we're not just like holding out the stuff that might hurt us. It's not a selective barrier. We may convince ourselves it is, but it isn't. When we block something, we block flow, and we don't get to selectively block flow. A blockage is a blockage. So we're blocking the flow of abundance. We're blocking the flow of growth and learning and enlightenment. We're blocking the flow of all these things that we may wish we could invite into our life, but because we are closed off, because we are protecting ourselves from, the fear of judgment, or the fear of not being enough, or the fear of not being worthy, or, we're suffocating that. We're taking the energy, the possibility of flow out of that. It's like putting a tourniquet on a wound, to stop the blood flow to that area. You're also doing a bunch of other stuff when you do that, and it may be that, like, for periods of time, like to get to the hospital, you need to do that to get through the moment. But we have to remember, like, okay, take the tourniquet off. We're in a safe space. We can cry. We can feel the hurt. We can sit with it. We can heal from it. I was just, Debbie, she's been a long time viewer of this channel. I don't think she would be upset if I told you that she is on she's waiting for an organ transplant. Like, her life depends on it. And I absolutely love her. She, has been a huge supporter of this channel for a really long time. Okay, I was about to tell you something that Debbie and I were talking about the other day, and now I cannot, but please keep her in your prayers, you guys. Like, she's a mom, a single mom, she's, she is fighting, to survive. And she's so, like, I was talking to her and she was like, she tries to do all these acts of kindness. She's in better shape, she feels like, and I mean, she is, than a lot of other people in the hospital. She takes like other people coffee and visits with them when they don't have people to visit with them, and she spreads all this joy. She's stuck in the hospital for a month now, and she spreads all this joy. She found someone's cell phone and returned it. Here she's waiting for a heart, and she's just a beautiful soul. Anyway, I can't remember. I was taking this back to something I was talking to Debbie about. We were talking about this. And, I'll remember it. I will. But, we have this opportunity to when the world tells us that who we are is not okay, or that there is some piece of our authenticity that we should reject, then we have a much harder time accepting that in other people. And, I just look at the way I was raised, and I was definitely raised in a very conditionally loving environment where there were expectations and you needed to be a certain way, and children were seen and not heard, and women, basically your entire life was just to be useful and valuable to the men because the men were what was really important, and, kind of a lot of the typical stuff that you see right now. And, people might call that a traditional home. But, it has left members of my family estranged. It has left, my siblings, I don't want to say they have horrible lives, but they've had a lot of problems with intimate relationships, divorce, raising their kids. Like, there's just been, a whole host of issues. And it comes from this space, I'm sure, of where it's like, it's not acceptable to be your whole authentic self. And so we have the opportunity as people, when we meet other people, to be, a loving space, and to say all of who you are is who you are, like, you don't have to be friends with everyone, and you don't have to accept things, you have to have boundaries, right? That's how you do it. You have boundaries. The boundary is the thing that protects you, not a barrier, and not a closing yourself off to prevent yourself from being hurt or prevent yourself from being judged. It's being able to, look at someone else and truly see the beauty of someone else, and at the same time not making people earn the degree of closeness to you, right? You don't just because you're providing an unconditional space where you're not judging someone else, which really takes the practice of not judging yourself first. Getting rid of that voice in your head that's like, this is not okay, that's not okay. Once we can release that for ourselves, then we don't see that in someone else. We don't feel the need to see that in someone else. There is no us versus them. There is only we. There is only one, we are all spiritual beings having a human experience. There is no, I don't know, but this is just, it's coming out so much, and so when we judge each other, we are creating that sense of separation of us versus them, my way or your way. And no matter what your way is, when you're looking at it like that, you're creating an illusion. You're creating something that doesn't actually really exist. It might make you feel better or less vulnerable, that like, oh, that's never going to happen to me because I do it like this. And I can't be judged for the way I behave because I'm above judgment, because I do it right. There's only one way to be and I do it right. It's much more difficult to say every way is valid. All rivers lead to the ocean. And I can coexist peacefully with all these things without being threatened, without being transgressed upon or feeling that I need to transgress upon someone else. That's a much more difficult way to live, but it's also ultimately a lot more satisfying and a lot more beautiful. I mean, I don't know. I guess we all have our opinions, right? But this energy is coming out a ton right now. And it is, in our interpersonal relationships, when we're projecting something onto someone else, it comes from this space where we're doubting ourselves, where we're insecure about ourselves, where we feel like we have something to hide. If I feel like I can't show you parts of myself, then I'm probably projecting those parts of myself that I'm rejecting onto you, right? We all know those people who are accusing everyone else of doing what they're actually guilty of doing. We all know somebody like that, and if we don't, then we're probably the person that's doing it, okay? Because that's just how it is. And so there's just this energy right here of, you want to be as secure with yourself and loving and non-judgmental to yourself as you possibly can, because then the mirror that you're holding up, and you're not projecting onto other people, and the mirror that you're holding up allows other people to see and express the full gamut of beauty that they are. And then everyone is attracted to you. Everyone wants to hang out with you. People literally make fun of me all the time, and I'm not sitting here trying to toot my own horn. I'm just telling you, I work at this. I'm not great at it. I'm human. But if I go to an airport or ride on an airplane, you better believe I'm going to be best friends with whoever sat next to me. People come and find me. I swear, they just and sit next to me and talk to me and tell me all kinds of things. And even like my friends, even the ones that are not as close to me, will say, I can't go to this person, or this person, because I can't handle what they're going to say to me. But I need to talk to someone, and I know that you won't judge me. And to me, that's the greatest compliment that anyone could ever give me. To me, that is just like, wow, it's such a confirmation for my soul that I'm living my truth, that I am the energy that I am seeking. It's like Joe Dispenza says, when you think about your ideal partner, seek to be that person. You know what I mean? I still feel in so many ways like I am, trying to be that person for my husband, for my children, for everyone, for myself, you know, and I'm working on it every day. And when you have a bad day, your mirror is going to be a little broken. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to get upset. You're going to get mad. And it's hard when you have kids and they're having a hard time and they come to you because they need that unconditional love and that space of non-judgment. Man, is it hard. You want to kill everybody. You're just like, no, leave my kid alone. Stop being terrible to my kid, you know? You know, it's hard. Yeah, I have to tell myself to breathe every time. Like, just calm down and just breathe and just be the space that they need you to be. Just hold the space for them. They are smart. They can figure it out. You know, you do not have to take on the world for them anymore. They're adults. You know what I mean? But if I didn't, you know, work through that, then this is what I would be doing to my kids when they called me with an issue. I would be reflecting back to them my own insecurities and my own fears. And I don't want to do that. You know, they have enough of their own that they got to work through, right? But the thing is, you can see these two hands are open like this. And this is an energy of receiving. This is an energy of welcoming something in. And in order to be like this, you can't be like this. You can't be protecting yourself. You can't be guarding yourself. You can't be trying to hide parts of yourself. This opens up your energy so that there is no this is oh my God, I can't even think. I can't think of the word. I don't know. This happens to me when I'm here. But we leak energy from here, but it doesn't have to be a leak. We can intentionally, when we are at peace with ourselves and we're not at war with ourselves and we're not afraid of what the world is going to say to us or what the world is going to do to us, because we understand and because we're the observer and we're not taking things on personally, we can be like this. We can be open to whatever comes. And we can also be free to share what we are, to allow it to go out and know that what is leaving us, the energy that is coming out of us, is also beautiful and is also loving. It's not perfect, right? It's never going to be perfect. We're human. But what we are exchanging, you know, the energy that we're putting out and the energy that we're getting back in our intimate relationship, which it feels like this is talking about, and with the world at large, which with everyone that we come across, it is going to be as harmonious and unifying and balanced as possible. And it comes from self-acceptance and peace within yourself. And that's what I see here. You know, where the mirror is broken and what it is reflecting back to us in our relationships is a gift. Even if it hurts, even if it's ugly, even if we wish it wasn't the way that it was, it's a gift because it is telling us the places where we can grow and expand ourselves and our own energy. And when we continue to listen to it instead of shutting it down and instead of protecting ourselves and guarding ourselves from it, we expand, we grow, we become more beautiful. Like we become more at peace and more accepting, right? Because this isn't ultimately who any of us really want to be. It isn't. We don't feel good here. We never feel good here. It never feels good to be like, I've got to judge you faster and harsher than you have an opportunity to judge me. That never feels good. That never, ever, ever is going to feel good. It just doesn't. It's not loving. It's not what we're here for. It's not high vibrational. But when we are at peace with ourselves and we are grateful and we are in an energy of abundance and we feel like so grateful. Every day I light a candle and thank the universe for my life, for this day, for this moment, for this space right here. And to be me, that I am me. I thank the universe every day. And I couldn't always do that. I didn't always feel that way authentically, but I do now, you know, and I am incredibly grateful, and I am incredibly grateful for all of you. And I know that every single one of you is worth celebrating. I know that for a fact, and I celebrate you. But it helps us to come, in order to be open to receive, we have to kind of believe that everything is going to work out, and we have to be at peace with however it goes, whichever way it goes down. We have to be at peace with it, so that we don't do this and try to control it and protect ourselves from potential pain. And you know, we have to be like, whatever comes, it's good. Oh my gosh, I just said like how I was celebrating you, and you guys, it says, glad I met you. What if we tried? Oh my God, I'll choose for you. Okay. Wow. Okay, I wasn't seeing this one coming. All right, but I'm down with it. All right, so I don't want anyone to get triggered here. This is not what this is about. This is actually the opposite. It's about coming to a place of peace and acceptance, not to react and respond. If you feel yourself reacting or responding, try breathing and try being the observer and asking yourself, why am I feeling like this? Why am I having this reaction? Is this what I want, or what can I learn from this? Okay. It says, glad I met you. It says, some days I think of your smile. My feelings for you change from day to day. You did more for me than you will ever know. Okay. And then you have, what if we tried? I wish I had the chance to love you, but for now all I can say is that I have love in my heart for you. Okay. And on the bottom of the deck, it says, I'll choose for you. And I had a really hard time reading it that way. I kept getting, I'll choose you. But that 3-letter word right there is really important, okay? And it says, I know that you're not the person for me. I will make the choice for both of us. It's over. And, you know, that's always the worst case scenario in a relationship, right? Is that not only do you, like, have to accept an ending, but you don't get to say anything about it. Like, you were part of the equation, but you don't get to say, yeah, I vote we work on it and have your vote matter. It's like someone else is making it up for you. And that's a very hard and painful experience. It's you know, it's not something I wish upon anyone. It leaves a lot of things undone. It leaves us without much closure. And things that don't have closure are more difficult to come to a place of peace and acceptance with a lot of times for humans, you know? But the actuality is, it isn't different than any other kind of ending. It's challenging, but if we get to the place where when something ends, we say, I'm glad it happened and I'm okay. And if we live our entire life in the space of, I'm okay with whatever way this goes. I can accept it and I will be okay and I will survive. And if we keep ourselves in that energy the entire time, that is a space with no expectation. And then it can surprise us. Then we can get a different outcome. Then we're not perpetually trying to steer it in one direction or another. We're just letting it go. We're letting it flow. When we let it flow, we're like this. And that allows it to reach its full abundance. Baba, you two are cuckoo. You're cuckoo. There's nothing even out there. You guys just wanted to talk on YouTube. You just wanted to say hi to everybody on Lotus Heart Tarot, didn't ya? Didn't ya? Mm-hmm. Oh, you want to give him a kiss too? Oh, my granddog is giving you guys kisses right now. And she is a good little kisser. She's a little cutie. She is a little sweetheart. Okay. Oh, and you want to talk? You want to say hello, Bhakti? All right. I love when you guys say that you love my dogs. I love my dogs too. I just feel very lucky and fortunate to have them. What handsome. All right. You know, someone here might wear hoodies. Like a hoodie might be, you know, kind of like a uniform. I don't know, like something that someone regularly wears. I got it here, but then that felt like a confirmation. So this antisocial, guys, this whole energy is just, it's what I was saying at the beginning. It's this need to like hide parts of ourselves, to not let people see things, you know, that energy of paranoia. It's like, you know, you're gonna judge me if you see this. You know, if I come to you and I'm like, and I'm protecting myself, I am almost accusing you of being judgmental in a way. You know, I mean, that's kind of an extreme, right? But at the same time, I'm saying, you know, I assume or think that you're going to judge me, so I hide this part of myself. So I don't allow you to see this part of myself, which is me projecting my fear of being judged onto you, right? And that's not kind. That's not nice. You know, but I get it. I'm not over here suggesting that we just run around vulnerable with everyone. That's not what I'm saying, right? But when we are trying to establish an intimate connection where we, no, different word, not establish, grow an intimate connection where we love each other, that's when the choice of being seen, allowing ourselves to be seen. There's some kind of quote, and it's like, you know, to know you is to love you, or to know them is to love them. You know, it's a precious gift when someone lets us in, or when we let someone in. You know, it's a precious gift. It really and truly is. And if I'm open and I'm letting someone in, and I'm establishing a deeper sense of intimacy, and someone's not coming with me, someone's not reciprocating it to the degree that I am giving it to them, they're shut down, they're not able to be seen, they're not able to be vulnerable, they're not able to open up. Well, obviously that creates an imbalance, but there's something deeper that's trying to be said here. It's like it's kind of giving me well, obviously it's a red flag. I'm like, it's giving me it's a red flag, but it is, right? Because, and we know that, and what it's showing me is like the best thing we can do is just accept that. You know, the best thing we can do is just take it at face value and say, oh, okay, this is your level, this is your degree of capacity to open up. And honey, Becca, what are you guys doing? Stop. If you want to play, go out there. There's so much space. Yeah, go out there to the foyer. Go out there. Yeah, take your toys out there. You two are cuckoo bananas. Here, let me give you this. A little treat for my little sweeties. All right, you ready? Here you go. Can you sit? Okay, that's enough. So much for dog training. But here's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, it's like acceptance in all things is just kind of what it's giving me. It's like because what happens when we don't accept something, that's when all these projections start getting thrown at each other. If you stop right there and you say, oh, okay, I observe that this is the degree to which you're comfortable with, okay, and I kind of like walk away and I give you the space, that is unconditionally loving. That's saying, you know, I accept that you're like this. I'm not going to judge you for being this way. I'm not going to try to convince you or try to control the situation or try to like compel you to, you know, give me more or show me more. And I'm not going to accuse you of having 8,000 problems. You know, I think my job was to bring you to the precipice and to show you what your limitation is. And to also show you through my own behavior that something more is possible. But, and then let you reflect on that. Just to be the mirror of it to you. So that then you can see like, oh, okay, you know, if I want the 10 of Cups, I'm going to have to work on myself to move past this space. I'm not going to get emotional contentment with another person when I'm only willing to open up this much. It's what happens is when we don't just accept that, then we start projecting our own anxiety and our own fears and our own stuff that we need to deal with onto the other person, right? Where we go, well, if you would just open up, if you could just figure it out, if you could just this, if you could just that, instead of just accepting the person. Well, then that's not love anymore. Right? Then we're taking this to another space where this becomes conditional. And, you know, where we're kind of judging the other person for not being able to do what we are able to do. And not giving them the space and the freedom to be who they are. Love as a choice is always the freest thing. It always is. It always is the thing that allows us to open up. I cannot even say that. Like, you know, my husband is, you know, like grew up Catholic and everything. And I was like really getting into tarot. And I was like, I think I'm going to start a YouTube channel. Like, I guarantee you when my husband married me, I'm like looking at a wedding picture that sits across from me. I'm sure he was like, no, not in any way thinking, you know, I think she's probably going to end up reading tarot cards at some point on YouTube, you know, or that was even in the realm of possibility. You know what I mean? But he's always just accept whatever's come with me. He has never tried to control it. He's never, you know, I don't think he also thought that I was going to be like traveling to New York City all the time. I mean, there was 1 year between April and October, I was home for 6 days. 6 days. And he held the entire fort down by himself, you know? I took the kids with me for a few weeks, but like, he held the fort down. I know he didn't think that that's what he was signing up for, but he didn't have an expectation about what he was signing up for. He was signing up for the rest of his life with me, whatever that was, whatever that brought. And thank God, because it's allowed me to stretch myself as a human being and find myself and find my own voice and explore what is important to me in the moment and be fully present and have a very rich and abundant life, I feel. You know, I have no regrets and I'm just lucky. But that's love. Love frees you to do that. You know, we can always choose judgment, and we can always choose projecting, and we can always choose to, you know, sort of, there is a basic human desire to like have what we want. And when it comes to other people, we have a tendency to sort of like want to say to someone, well, you could be what I want you to be, or this could be amazing, or da 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 da. And instead of just saying, it is what it is, and I'm glad I met you, and I'm glad this happened. And man, I'm sure there's a lot of lessons in this for me, and I'm sure I'm figuring it out. And, you know, I'm going to make the most of this opportunity that I had with you. You know, we have to be the energy that we want to receive. We have to be, it's that open hand. It's like it's coming out of me and coming back into me. What I'm putting out there, I'm getting back, you know? And so and it's, everything starts within yourself, that ecosystem within yourself. What are you doing in there? You know? I don't know why we're having this conversation. All I can see is these two open hands. And I'm like, what is it with these open hands? There's so many open hands right here. But, you know, if somebody says, like, if we're pushing someone to their brink, to their edge, to their breaking point, and they cut ties with us, it's like, okay, you know, you know, however. There's this interesting energy after this, where you have this smell the roses. And, you know, I'm going to go back to cleaning my closet, you know, that example. But when you let things go, that instead of trying to force them to work, you know, that pair of jeans that you hold on to in case you lose 15 pounds, they look amazing and you spent $200 on them when you lost weight and you were feeling your best and looking your best, but now they don't fit, but you can't get rid of them because they were $200 and they looked so good. They're the perfect pair of jeans. If we can let those go, then we can make space for something else that fits us now and that brings us joy. If I open my closet and I see this pair of jeans that you know is gonna fit me if I lose 15 pounds that I spent a whole bunch of money on, that hasn't fit me in a long time, do you think that's gonna make me feel amazing about myself, or do you think it's gonna make me feel like crap about myself? It's gonna make me feel like crap. I mean, at least me, the way I work. If I get rid of that pair of jeans and I make space for the new pair of jeans to come in, and I find a like, or a sweater. I freaking love sweaters. I'm so excited we're coming into sweater season, even in Florida, even though it's hot right now. I can get a great sweater because now I have space, because I don't have those jeans sitting there making me feel like crap about myself. And instead I have a sweater that every time I open my closet and look in there, I'm overjoyed about it. And now when I look at that sweater, I'm even more grateful for it because it has taken the place of something that filled me with dread. Something that wasn't working, that I was beating my head against a wall over. Like, man, every time I looked at him, I really need to work on losing weight. I need to start working out again. I need to cut out the carbs. I need to cut out the sugar. I need to this. I need to that. That type of energy swallows you whole, and very rarely is that extremely helpful. Do you know what I mean? And so there's just this, you have this like bad decisions kind of energy, and then you have this slow down and take some time, you know, smell the roses, appreciate life, you know. It's like, let's fill our words. Like, what is it that Marie Kondo says? Like, does it spark joy? Let's ask ourselves that, you know. Let's have a Marie Kondo moment here, because there is something here with these open hands and this harmony energy, where what we are inside is what we're putting out and what we're gonna get back, and we want it to be the best thing. We want it to be what we want it to be. So in order to have what we want, we have to be that energy first. We have to become that person. We have to be all the way in it ourselves. Okay, I don't know. You guys, these readings lately have been, I don't know. So this can be your energy. It can also be your person's energy. It can also be kind of a reflection of both of you, like a bit of a mirrored energy. And also this can be, I feel very strongly for a lot of you, it is the energy of setting yourself up for meeting someone. I do feel like there could be someone coming in, and this is us getting to our highest vibrational self to be ready for this, for what is coming. Let's see what the tarot says. 9 of Wands, here we have our block. 10 of Wands, even more block. See? Oh my God. I give up. I give up. I give up. I give up. This is a miracle that's happening on the table right here, right now. Okay? Remember, I like, oh my God. I feel like, hello, this is what I've been saying kind of since the very beginning of this reading, where we're talking about blocked energy and how we're not just blocking the flow of stuff that's going to be painful or hurt us or potentially trigger us or touch a wound, but we're also blocking the flow of abundance. You got 2 aces stacked up here. 2 amazing aces, the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Swords, okay? And what do we have? The 10 of Wands and the 9 of Wands. This is like the blockage. This is like clean out your closet. Get rid of the pair of jeans that you are holding on to in case you lose 15 pounds. You see what I'm saying? You know, if stuff isn't working in your life and it's become a bit burdensome or tiresome or heavy for you to carry, let that shit go. That is what I'm getting. You know, the 9 of Wands, you know, like, you know, it's kind of the energy, like Dr. Phil, and I kind of hate quoting him because his arc as a human being has been kind of disappointing for me. But my dentist, when I was like 20, used to have him play, and I had like my wisdom teeth taken out. I had like a whole bunch of stuff done when I was like that age. And so I was like always in his waiting room, and every time I was there, he had Dr. Phil on. And so I ended up watching like kind of, I don't want to say a lot of Dr. Phil, but like, you know, I don't know. And then I intentionally chose to watch Dr. Phil at different times in my life because of that experience. Anyway, he would say, you got to earn your way out of this. You got to earn your way out of this. And the 9 of Wands is giving me that vibe of, you know, like, okay, you persevere, you hold on, you continue to try. You don't just give up because it gets hard, because you meet with an obstacle. You persevere and you try, and you, if this is something you want and you believe in it, you give it everything you got. But if that barrier doesn't come down, if it doesn't let you in, if it doesn't lead to a better, different place, you know, if you don't start to see, I mean, if you're heading down this set of railroad tracks forever, right, and there's no land in sight, and there still is no land in sight, and no land in sight, and no land in sight, how long do you want to stay, you know, there on the track, you know? It's interesting. This card says ending, and I kept seeing it say pending. Like, giving me the 3 dots in a text message, you know, when someone's typing, vibe. Like, literally. And then I looked down, and there's actually a dot here that I was, like, reading as a P. You see that? It's like something wants to come in, and it can't come in until we make this decision to close out this cycle here. And, you know, with the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Swords, you know, the Ace of Swords is the breakthrough that leads to the new beginning. And in order to have a breakthrough, you have to be open to receive it. You have to be in this energy. This is not the energy that you're going to be in when you have a breakthrough. This energy here is guarded, and it's, you know, it's determined. There's a light and a dark of every energy, and that same determination that, you know, makes you earn your way out of it. You have to be ready to acknowledge and accept when you're out of it, you know, or when it's in your best interest to get out of it. You know, that you have earned it. You gave it everything you had. You put everything you had into it, and there was no end in sight. So you had to choose your own ending. You had to choose to release the burdensome situation, to accept it for what it is, and to move on gracefully. And then there's this breakthrough of a new beginning in love. All right, but let's clarify. I'm kind of really liking the energy of doing this reading in the afternoon. It's very strange. I'm not really an afternoon kind of person. My best time is in the morning, typically. Wow, okay, I just want to show you something. The Emperor is on the bottom of the deck here, and underneath the Nine of Wands is the Emperor. It's telling me that, you know, wow, and then you have the Queen of Swords and the Page of Swords. It's telling me that you know, once you kind of let go, once you accept something is what it is, and you just accept it the way that it is, for one thing, you go back into the driver's seat, like you take control of your own life and your own decisions, but also it does feel like there is potentially a divine partner coming in. Like, just, it is like waiting right here on the other side of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like right there. You have this Page of Swords, which is a breakthrough. And this is like, you could be having some kind of thought or some kind of way of thinking or some kind of breakthrough here that leads you to release a burdensome cycle, or to even see how burdensome something has actually been for you in your life. And this brings about this change. It brings in these two aces. This is like a major life change. This is major. This is like giving me, you know, those cars that they have on the train track that like go ahead of the train, and it's like a guy or sometimes two guys, and they're doing like a teeter-totter thing in their hands, and then they have this like wooden brake, and they like pull back on it, and the piece of wood hits the wheel and slows them down. Do you know what I'm talking about? For some reason, I'm getting this energy right here. I don't know. All right. Anyway, I haven't thought about those things in a really long time. I haven't seen one in a million years. Like, I have no idea where that came from. I have no idea where any of it comes from. All right, here we go. You have the Nine of Swords and Justice. Wow. And then you have the Magician. The minute you stop choosing out of fear, you become empowered, and it creates this energy flow. You got the Wheel of Fortune here, and you have almost the same kind of energy right here, and it's like you become the alchemist. The alchemist is the conduit that can bring things down from the ethers. I wish I had a Rider-Waite Magician card right here to show you. Oh my God, I do. This is crazy. Underneath it too was the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, but if you look at it, you see he has this wand. This is what I want. This is what I desire. I'm holding it up to the ethers. I'm telling the universe, this is what I want. And you see how his arms are like this, positioned. His hand is actually, this is a small card, but hopefully you can see. So his hand is like this, pointing at the ground. He becomes the conduit for bringing his own desires into reality. That's what happens when the decision is made to let go of, to release the fear around the situation. And what is that fear? You know, sometimes it's like, it's hard to just let somebody go sometimes, or maybe it's even you have the Nine of Wands again, and you know, that's 3 nines that you've had in your reading. That's definitely the completion of a cycle here. Yeah, guys, I mean, this is the decision that leads to happiness. This is the decision, the choice that leads to, empowering the self to bring everything we want into reality. The Queen of Wands is very similar to the Magician in the same way, right? She knows exactly what she wants. In one hand, she has the Sunflower, which is a reference to the Sun card, right? And then in the other hand, she has the wand, which is the another tool, right? The Magician has a wand in his hand as well, that is bringing something down from the ethers into reality. She's just sitting here effortless. She's not even trying. She's not working hard. She's not chasing anything. She's not trying to become anything. She doesn't need anything to be anything other than what it is. She's got a firm grasp on her own happiness and what she wants, and she's calling it in. And she is the vibrational match for what she wants because she's calling it in. And she's listening to her intuition here with the black cat. So, this is a stubborn energy with the Nine of Swords and the Nine of Wands. It's like, why am I afraid to let go of this? Why am I afraid to let go of this thing that is clearly blocked, that is clearly has no energy flow? Even the Nine of Swords is represented with this like blocked energy here. Yeah. We have the Queen of Swords look at the freaking open hands. The open hands is something, you guys. It's something. This is just slaying me right now. I can't even. We have the Queen of Swords in reverse here, and we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. The Queen of Swords is like, the Queen of Swords has been through the entire sword cycle. And when she's upright, it's like, I have been hurt. I have suffered. I have been manipulated. I've been deceived. I've been backstabbed. I have had all of these things happen to me. And I had the choice. Do I let it make me bitter or do I let it make me better? And she chooses better. And she asks herself through all of those lessons of the entire sword cycle, which those are some freaking intense lessons, we all know, right? What can I learn from this? And that knowledge becomes her ability to be discerning and be her own best counsel when something is presented to her. Do I want that? Do I want to let that in? Do I want to be open to receiving that? Or not? When the Queen of the Queen of Swords is in reverse, it's kind of the opposite. I've allowed it to make me bitter or kind of misalign me on the inside, to where I may say what I want is, an equal partnership, but I keep choosing people who are emotionally unavailable because I'm actually very guarded myself and I'm afraid to open up. So if I choose someone who's emotionally guarded or emotionally stunted, then I don't have to, then I can always feel like, well, I would if it could be reciprocated, but they're not reciprocating it. They're not willing to reciprocate it. They're not reciprocating it. So I don't have to do it. Or I perpetually, continuously get hurt and choose people that continuously teach me the lessons of the sword cycle because I'm not learning the lesson. Maybe I grew up in a toxic environment and that's all I know. And it's the most, I keep finding myself attracting and getting into relationships with toxic people. The thing about any energy in tarot is that we have the capacity, well, I don't want to say any energy. The major arcana are stuff that the universe is, putting on our path for a reason. The minor arcana are the things that are within our control. They're the things that we can look at and introspect on and get insight from and change within ourselves. So when we ask something, what is this trying to teach me? And we make a different choice based on what we learn from that question, right? That's when we open up to receive a new cycle. And so we have the Queen of Swords in reverse and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So this is a pattern that we keep repeating. We keep experiencing the same thing. This could be you, this could be your person, okay? And so what it's trying to teach me, that I'm having this experience over and over again, I have to ask myself. I have to go within and ask myself. With the Hierophant, this may be where you keep choosing people that won't commit to you or won't ultimately choose you. Or you commit to people who are misaligned and are kind of toxic and dangerous for your mental health. Yeah. So, yeah, for some of you, man, for some of you, this is a matter of not knowing your worth or your value, not understanding the true value of what you have to share, what you have to offer, what you have to bring to the table, and choosing to try to collaborate, share a vision and a plan, and then work with somebody who is not aligned. And when we do that over and over again, it misaligns us and it teaches us a lot of lessons that most of us would rather not learn. They typically are very unpleasant lessons. When you have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse with the Four of Wands, this is like, I don't know why I keep getting the same thing over and over again and I'm not getting what I want. And it may even be like someone who has been married 3 or even like 4 times, or has had like 3 or 4 really serious relationships that really have not worked out, that kind of really have gone badly. It may be because they're not protecting their worth or their value. They're not making people earn their way in. And when you make someone earn their way in, and you take things slow, earth energy is very slow, people can't hide this, that they actually are not a good collaborator, and that they actually can't share a vision or a plan with you, or that they actually really have no intention of doing that. It takes time for someone to truly prove that they deserve a spot at this table with you, and that they're really capable of this. And if you take someone at face value and just listen to what they say and who they say they are, then you have a tendency to end up in long-term situations, where you're, potentially building some kind of home life with them. This is like living together and sometimes marriage, right? With someone who's really not capable of ever showing up to that. So you're the one having to hold the whole fort down all the time. So we want something different. If we want to receive, then we have to be able to see it in ourselves and understand the weight and the value of it, and make someone show us that they also understand the weight and the value and see it in us, and that they can match it. I mean, I feel like, duh, like everybody knows that, right? But that's the message. Sometimes knowing it and knowing it are different things. Wow, damn, you guys, look at this. It's like the universe is waiting for this energy. You have the Two of Cups with the Ten of Cups. I think this is the second time we've gotten that card combination. The Temperance and the Seven of Pentacles. This comes in divine timing. This comes when we're healed, when we're grounded, when we're centered, when we're empowered, when we're in charge of our own life, and we are, holding in our hands what we desire, this relationship comes in. It's coming in. You have a major relationship coming in. Chances are, Pisces, you've learned something from a relationship and you have something coming in. And for some of you, it may already even be here. But you know, this is an opportunity to come together in a balanced and healthy way with someone who can really show up for you and meet you where you are. Someone who is looking for the same thing you are, someone who wants emotional contentment with another person and has done the work and healed themselves in order to be able to show up for this. And it took some time to get here. Yeah. Wow, you have 2 7s. 7 is a very spiritual number. When I was talking in the very beginning about something about guarding ourselves, why do we guard ourselves? I kept seeing the 4 of Pentacles, and now to see it come out in reverse, it's like it's such a beautiful confirmation. But yeah, I mean, this is, in order to have this, we have to let our guard down. And we have to be able, we have to feel safe to do that. We have to choose someone who can create that safe space with us. And we have to be that safe space for someone else, you know? And then you have this Temperance energy with the Page of Pentacles. I learned my lesson. I'm making a different choice. I'm heading in a different direction. With the 7 of Pentacles, this is actually giving me the light energy of this card, which is like, wow, look at all the possibilities. It's also giving me the energy of like, sometimes life is better than the fantasy. Sometimes the reality, it is better than the fantasy. It may take a while for it to show up in your life. You may have to wait what feels like an eternity. But when it shows up, like that's worth the wait. Let me get you guys some message cards here. All right. You're dealing with a water sign. My child is trying to cook. I mean, she's a great cook, but she's trying to make something she's never made before. And that's why I was so late getting to the table. All right, so here we have water sign. Trust me, I can't walk away. Your words speak to me like no others can, and guilt. Both of my kids are actually really incredible cooks. I am very, because that's my love language, cooking, and so they would always cook with me, and I love cooking. When they come home, I'm like, let's cook together. All right, if you're dealing with a fire sign, you have distant, doubting, resentment, and what we have is soul recognition. They love cooking in my kitchen because they both live in apartments. My son actually has like a pretty nice apartment. I mean, he's got a pretty great kitchen. It was brand new, so he has new appliances. My daughter lives in an absolute dive, but she's been a student for like 25 years, so who can blame her? All right, but she's about to graduate. Okay, and if you're dealing with an earth sign, you have triggered, fantasizing, be patient with me, please, and we will be together again. And if you're dealing with an air sign, you have, okay, regret. I am overcoming my fears. Wait for me, and I want a future with you. All right, this is what I have for you, you guys. I hope this helps. I hope this brings you some peace and clarity. If it does, let me know. Like, share, subscribe, comment. I really do appreciate all of you and your comments. Yesterday, you guys left me a lot of really beautiful comments, and they really touched my heart, and I am super grateful. I feel like there is like an energy of like flow and letting our guards down and feeling things a little bit more right now. And man, you know, I really do appreciate all of your very thoughtful, beautiful comments. All right, until next time, I send you off with all my very best. Always, always, always. Pray for Debbie, please, you guys. Oh, I love her. All right, bye-bye.